You know, for me, the wake-up call happened a year ago last January, and I got a call from my doctor on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. And my doctor always gives me a lecture, so I'm like, oh no, here comes my lecture. And he says things like, you're getting fat, you got to stop eating this kind of stuff, you better start running again, and you have a malignant melanoma. I don't think that's a good thing, is it? He says, I'm sorry to call you on Friday afternoon like this, but I told you it was a blue nevus. I'm sorry, it's not. It is malignant, and I thought you should know as soon as possible. Said, now I've called the best dermatologist in the whole state. His name is Dr. Randall Burr. You have an appointment on Tuesday. Now, usually it takes a long time to get to see the doctor. So when they tell you you have an appointment on Tuesday, it's like, this is serious, right? So, and then he said the one thing that really made me nervous. He says, don't do anything silly. Like make a funny face or what, right? So I went downstairs and we looked it up on the internet. That was a big mistake, right? So by Tuesday, how am I feeling? Like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. This is bad news. But it was one of the most incredible experiences of my whole life. And I just share it with you because I think, you know, we can all learn things from that. First thing that he did is he went into his office. He never looked at me one time. He always looked at my wife, because it's always far harder on the other person than it is on you. He was just, whoa, total attention. Second thing is he understood that when you're under stress, you really can't hear that well. You know, it's just like, you know. And so he drew pictures. He says, can I draw on you? Well, you're the doctor. You can do whatever you want. Draw a picture. And then he wanted us to relax. So he said, you know my nickname, don't you? I said, no. He said, Benihana. And then he had to examine the rest of my body to make sure I didn't have any more anyplace else on me, which wouldn't have been so bad, except for was him and a young female doctor and a really young female intern. He says, drop your pants down around your ankles. Shrinkage. My wife thinks it's so funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, you think that ain't funny? He said, turn around really slow. I said, it's actually fairly difficult to turn around fast with your pants like this. Then he called the physician that was going to do the surgery, a nuclear physician. And the nice part about it is he did it in front of me. You know, like when I go to the dentist, I'm not afraid of the tray that's in front of me. I'm afraid of the tray that's behind you, right? But so he did it in front of me. I'm not afraid of what the doctor says in front of me. I'm afraid of what he's going to say in the hallway to somebody else. So right in front of me, he calls Dr. Lung and he says, okay, here's what this is about, and here's what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to schedule it. I mean, he acted as my advocate. And you think about that, you know, he could have just said, I want you to call Dr. Lung and, you know, arrange this. And, you know, maybe that would have been just doing his job. But he didn't do that. He did that for me. But the last thing he did is what blew my mind. He said, you know what? I am so busy here at work that if you call me, I just don't have time to give you my full attention. So please, if you have questions, please call me at... Unbelievable. I couldn't imagine it. And you know, he's the best guy in the whole state. Am I going to call him at home? No way, I'm not going to do that. So what does he do to me? Calls me. 3 times he calls me at home. I can hear his kids in the background. Think about it. Now, the last time that he called was on Saturday before I go into surgery. Now, remind you, he is not doing the surgery. He calls up on Saturday and talks to my wife. He says, how are my friends, the Morgans? This is Randall. She's like, Randall? He said, Dr. Burr, you know, makes you want to stand up straight. Stop eating ice cream. He says, he asked how I was feeling. And she started talking about how I was feeling about some other things he carved off of me. And he stopped her. No, time out. No. How does he feel emotionally about surgery on Tuesday? He called up to ask how I was feeling about a surgery he wasn't even going to do.